Hello my creative friend, Olga Sobi here and welcome to new fluid art tutorial, or I guess I should say mixed media tutorial, because this is going to be quite a combination of techniques, not just fluid art techniques. So here I have a canvas which is 18 by 40 inches, so pretty long canvas, and I have already created some texture on it. I'm continuing my exploration of mixing texture on the canvas with fluid art techniques. It's been a lot of fun on this journey. So this is what I'm working on today, and I have already did a pour painting. I guess you can say so by the state of my canvas. I did it already over this texture and I absolutely didn't like it. I kind of overworked it and it didn't really match what I have envisioned and planned for this texture. So I ended up scraping it. Some of the paint stained the canvas, but it's not a problem because I kind of want to stay within the same color palette, which is going to be red and burgundy. Not sure if you can see, but it's very pretty. And this is something that I wouldn't recommend doing if you... So these parts are very important that the background looks nice. So as I scraped, I saved all the scraped paint and I got a few very interesting shades of red. And also I mixed a few new ones too, so they are more bright and saturated. And I want to do a different technique and do even more steps or more layers on this painting. I know it's a long explanation, but of course I will guide you in a lot more details as we go. So let's jump right into the process. Let's go. Passion, secret message for this painting, and I wrote it on the side of the canvas because I'm actually planning out this painting in the portrait layout, but it's easier for me to work sort of in a landscape orientation. And I'm gonna do a dirty pour technique for this piece to create a background. So I want to start by adding a tape dome around my canvas. Preferably not to drop any paint I have mixed. That will be ideal. And such a dome really helps to prevent wasting a lot of paint when you do a lot of tilting. It's not necessary to do it for all the techniques. For example, when I do the blowing techniques, I don't do the dome. But for dirty pour, where I'm gonna pour out colors from the cup and really tilt to create the design, this is the way to go for me. So here I have planned sort of the order in which I'm going to be adding colors to my large cup. And they all in the same color palette, in a very similar color palette, but they all have different combinations of carmine red, red violet, and some of them have magenta and vermilion orange, others have some black. So you will see they all kind of warm colors, reddish colors, but just in different ratios. No, actually I don't want the layer colors. I'm gonna pour right from the top so that they all over mix in the cup. And this is something that I wouldn't recommend doing if you're working with colors that can create mud together. But because all of these colors are from similar color family, they're all relatives, they will not create mud if they overmix. So it's completely fine to pour from up high and really get them to mix together. It's gonna be one full cup. Maybe I shouldn't keep it on the canvas because it will stretch the canvas. Okay, let's pour it right out. And of course, all the colors are mixed with my new recipe. If you haven't heard about it, check out my new online course. I will include the link in the description. Yeah, some cells start showing up, but they will appear more when I'm gonna be tilting. But first, I think I want a torch because I see a few air bubbles. Really like this area right here. Very pretty contrast. Okay, let the tilting begin. As you can see, the dome comes in super handy, stopping paint from going over. And then of course I'm going to remove the dome to cover my sides, but only when I'm ready. And for my reds, I have mixed some more warm, so some have more orange, especially you can see this color here, and some cooler, like this magenta pinkish color, to really create a very diverse color palette. But at the same time, I didn't want to, because it's a background and it's a big painting, I didn't want to create a too intense red, because it would be just too powerful to have it on such a large canvas, because red is a very strong color. So creating a diverse and a little bit more muted red color palette, I think, is a perfect solution. I have smudged the corner, so I'll need to bring the paint to this corner to make sure it's covered. But I have the weight of my paint, most of my paint on this side, so let's cover this edge first. I'm using the drips to cover my edges and really extend the design to the sides. Now I will continue tilting in a moment, so these parts, they level out on the sides as well, and they will look much more blended and organic with those drips that are already on the sides. So I'm very happy with it now, especially with this part, because I can see it really flows with the shape of my texture. Same on this side, and this is where I have no texture, so these parts are very important that the background looks nice and organic. So I'm gonna let this dry now, and I'm gonna work on top of my fluid acrylics. So let's see how it turns out. I will see you in about a week or two, but for you it's gonna be just in a second. So let's jump to the next step. The painting is dry, and you can see that all the colors in the base became darker and definitely deeper. And this is the thing about working with acrylics, you get this wet to dry color shift. So pretty much all of the acrylics look darker once they dry. And what I want to do now is really work on my textured section, give it some shades and highlights and more depths, so it really stands out from the background. I want to make it more appealing, yet keep it very, very cohesive to the design that I already have in the base. So I want all the elements, the poured background and the texture, really work together and speak to each other in terms of color and just overall style. I'm using fluid paint to add these new layers, and in terms of colors, pretty much all of my colors are very similar to what I already have in my base, but some of them are just a touch lighter because I'm sort of highlighting the most elevated sections of the texture. For the final step, I decided to add some golden highlights, and for that I am using beautiful gold leaf. And if you are also interested in using gilding gold in your artwork and want to learn my recommendations for my favorite gold leaf brand, as well as my compositional advice on how to use this product, I have created a dedicated guide just for you. This guide is free, and I will include the link for you to download it below this video. And my red burgundy color palette that I used for pouring is pretty close to monochrome. And I think that gold leaf looks absolutely fabulous in here. This painting totally captivates me, and I love how textured and gold work in balance with fluid background. I have planned this artwork in a landscape layout, so right now please turn your phone, if you're watching on a phone, turn it 90 degrees clockwise to see the complete appearance. There you have it. What do you think about my outcome? Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, create with passion, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!